Hi everyone. Okay, today we'll be learning how to answer another type of source-based question. Okay, so this question type is known as the hybrid question. Okay, so it might sound a little confusing now first, okay, but we'll break this down together and then hopefully it'll be easier for you to approach such questions when you do see them in your source-based case studies. Okay, so what exactly is a hybrid question? Okay, a hybrid question is a question type whereby you are required to apply your understanding of more than one source analysis skill within the same question. Okay, so it's actually not something that is unfamiliar to you. Okay, all of the skills that you will need to answer this question, you have actually already learned about it before and you should be quite familiar with it. Okay, so what are some skills that we have learned so far in history and actually even in social studies? Okay, the very basic source analysis skill that we have learned even since Sec 1 is to make inferences. Okay, and this is to help us to understand what the source is trying to tell us. Okay, this will help us to identify what the source is about and what can we use this source for in helping us to understand certain topics. Okay, the next skill that we have learned is the skill of source comparison. Okay, so that's your common comparison question. How similar are these sources? How different are these sources? Okay, but more importantly, it also helps us to do cross-referencing. Okay, because when you cross-refer two sources, you are actually comparing them as well. So it's the same skill set. Okay, and we cross-refer these sources in order to check for whether the source is reliable, okay, whether we can trust this source, okay, whether the source is correct, okay, or whether the source can be used to prove something. Okay, we also do cross-referencing in order to check for a source's usefulness or utility. Okay, and we do this by establishing first, okay, whether they are reliable and therefore useful, or vice versa. Okay, and the next thing that we do cross-referencing for is for us to find out whether we are surprised by this source or not. Okay, so surprise is based on whether we are expecting this source to say that or whether it can be contradicted or supported by another source. So when we cross-refer, okay, we are saying that if two sources support each other, okay, this means that they are both saying the same thing and we shouldn't be surprised. But if two sources contradicts each other, then it'll be like, why are they saying two different things from each other? And therefore, we will be surprised. Okay, and the next thing, the highest level of skill of source analysis that we have learned so far is the evaluation of source provenance. Okay, and when we talk about provenance, we are referring to how we evaluate who the author is. Okay, we are also evaluating when and where the source was published. Okay, we are looking at the context that the source was being published in. Okay, and in history, context is particularly important. Okay, because we have learned the content of all of the chapters that will be tested for source base. Okay, and it's expected that we will know what was happening during the period of time that the source was being produced in, because this will affect, okay, the purpose that the author will have. Okay, will affect the things that the authors are trying to say, or it will affect the way that people think. Okay, so context is extremely important when we are doing source analysis in history. Okay, and what's the whole point of us evaluating source provenance? Okay, we are trying to use it to determine the purpose of the source, okay, what the author is trying to achieve, what the author hopes the audience will do. Okay, and then we can also therefore use the evaluation of provenance to check for reliability. Okay, if we know that the author is biased, it will likely be unreliable. Okay, we are also using it to check for utility, whether it's useful or not. Again, this is done through establishing reliability and therefore whether it will be useful or not. Okay, and of course, if the source is an objective one, okay, you find that the author has no reason to lie about certain things, it will therefore be reliable. Okay, and we will also check the source provenance in order to find out whether this source is truly surprising to us or not. Okay, and when we do that, we are actually looking at our expectations of the author. Okay, do we expect the author to say certain things because of the things that were happening at that point in time? So for example, do we expect let's say a Hitler Youth to actually criticize Hitler's rule in Nazi Germany? Okay, so if you do not expect the author to do so, then that's when you will be surprised by it. Okay, but if you know that, let's say for example, this source was published way long after Hitler's rule, okay, where you know that Hitler is no longer able to persecute these people since he's no longer alive, okay, and these people are able to find out more about the realities of what was happening during Hitler's rule. Okay, then even though he used to be a Hitler Youth member, it wouldn't be surprising anymore for them to actually criticize Hitler's rule, since he would be a bit more aware of what was happening. Okay, so if you expect the author to say certain things, you will not be surprised. Okay, and of course, if it's unexpected, then you will be surprised. Okay, so our hybrid question will then make use of will be a hybrid. Okay, will be a hybrid of any of these source analysis skills. Okay, usually it will involve your source comparison and then the evaluation of the source provenance. Right. So what are some of the sample hybrid questions that are actually that will actually be tested, or what we have seen has been tested so far? Okay, so usually at the start they will tell you to study 2 different sources. Okay, you will see this at the top of your question. Study sources A and B, for example. And then a sample would be this: how far does source A prove that source B is wrong? So we know that this is comparison plus reliability. Okay, having read source A, are you surprised by source B? Again, we know that this is comparison plus our evaluation of surprise. Okay, source A has different views about the Korean War from source B. Does it mean that one of them is wrong? Okay, we see the word wrong, okay, just like the first question over here, okay, it would be related to reliability. So again, this is source comparison plus reliability. Okay, and lastly, source A contradicts source B in terms of what it says about the Korean War. Does it make one of them useless? Okay, and this is your comparison skill plus your evaluation of usefulness. Okay, so I don't know if you all notice a trend, okay, but what we see over here is that there is an assumption that all of these questions make. Okay, and this assumption is that when we are evaluating the reliability, usefulness, or surprise factor of the source, we will always do our cross-referencing. Okay, so the assumptions of all of these questions are that we are supposed to cross-refer sources A and B together. Okay, and all of these questions, they are actually trying to make you think about whether cross-referencing, is it enough to prove that a question is wrong, to prove that a source is wrong? Is it enough to make you surprised by something? Okay, is it enough to make another source useless? Okay. Okay, so let's just let this sink in for a while. We'll take a short break and then we will come back to the next part of this lesson, whereby we will go through some of these questions and the possible steps we can take to answer these questions.